5 best breads for people with diabetes. Living with diabetes means every bite counts, and bread, a staple food for many, can pose unique challenges. Did you know that the wrong bread choice can cause dangerous blood sugar spikes, leading to long-term complications like nerve damage, kidney disease, and heart problems? Today, a wide variety of bread are available in bakeries and grocery stores, making it challenging to find the right options for those managing diabetes. Some choose to stay away from bread totally, yet many have struggled with giving up this staple food. Now, what if we told you that you don't have to? Yes, with the right choices and knowledge, bread can still be part of your healthy eating plan. In this video, we'll guide you through the selection process, exploring the best breads for people with diabetes, their benefits, how to incorporate them into a healthy eating plan, and all the precautions that you need to take to manage other complications associated with diabetes. Additionally, we'll discuss strategies for monitoring blood sugar levels after consuming bread and ensuring it fits within a broader plan to prevent complications like neuropathy and weight management challenges. Plus, do you know that if your loaf stays fresh for over 3 days on the counter without molding, it's probably loaded with preservatives and excess salt? By the end of this video, you'll have a well-rounded understanding to make informed and healthy bread choices. To make things easier, we've grouped bread into 2 main categories: whole grain versions and refined versions made with white flour. Each type is available in 2 forms. 1. Conventional, which includes homemade or locally produced options. 2. Commercial versions, which come in pre-packaged form and often contain additives. First thing first, let's equip you with the science behind smart choices of breads. Before we dive in, please note, all the information in this video is created by real people, thoroughly fact-checked, unbiased, and reviewed by qualified professionals. The problem with breads. One of the main problems is the prevalence of refined carbohydrates in many commercially available breads. Refined grains or refined flour to make bread are stripped of their fiber and nutrients. This processing means these carbohydrates are quickly converted to glucose, causing rapid spikes in blood sugar levels. Fiber plays a crucial role in slowing digestion and preventing rapid glucose absorption, so breads lacking fiber can exacerbate blood sugar issues. Furthermore, many store-bought breads contain hidden sugars, preservatives, and artificial additives, which can further contribute to blood sugar instability. Another problem is that many types of bread cause a rapid rise in blood sugar levels, as shown by their high glycemic index, or GI for short. The GI score measures how quickly carbohydrates in food raise blood sugar levels. A higher GI means the food causes a faster and sharper spike in blood glucose. High GI breads, such as white bread with a GI of around 60 to 95, can cause rapid spikes in blood sugar, leading to difficulties in maintaining stable glucose levels. This is particularly problematic for people with diabetes, who must avoid extreme fluctuations. Another significant consideration is that bread is often calorie-dense, yet hard to resist, and overconsumption can lead to weight gain, another risk factor for insulin resistance and poor glucose control. But here's the good news. Not all breads are created equal, and some varieties can actually be beneficial for people with diabetes. It is essential for people with diabetes to choose nutrient-dense, low GI breads, and to be mindful of portion sizes. 5 healthiest breads for people with diabetes. 1. Whole grain bread. Whole grain bread is one of the healthiest options for people with diabetes due to its high fiber content and nutrient density. Whole grains retain all parts of the grain kernel, the bran, germ, and endosperm, providing more fiber, B vitamins, and minerals like zinc and magnesium than refined grains. The GI of whole grain bread varies depending on the exact ingredients, but typically falls between 50 and 63, making it a moderate GI food. Fiber in whole grains slows carbohydrate digestion, leading to a steadier release of glucose into the bloodstream. For those with diabetes, choosing bread high in soluble fiber can work wonders to help improve cholesterol levels and blood pressure, helping to avoid complications. Check the label and pick bread with at least 3 grams of fiber per slice. The total carbohydrate count should ideally fall between 15 to 20 grams per slice. To make the most of whole grain bread, it's best to pair it with protein-rich foods or healthy fats. For instance, Topping a slice of whole grain bread with avocado, sugar-free nut butter, or a boiled egg can further reduce its overall GI impact and provide a more balanced meal. Portion control is crucial. One slice per meal, up to 2 servings daily, is a reasonable guideline for most individuals with diabetes. When shopping, look for labels that are 100% whole wheat, whole rice, whole corn, or lower carb. Check the ingredient list. Whole grain should appear as the first ingredient, not enriched or wheat flour. Avoid those with added sugars or refined flours. Good news. Many brands now make bread with organic ingredients. Some even come in thinner slices, so you can enjoy them with fewer carbs per serving. Baking at home is also an excellent way to control ingredients. Using whole grain flour and incorporating seeds like flax seeds or chia seeds can boost the fiber content. However, it's important to avoid varieties with added sweeteners or artificial flavorings. People with gluten sensitivity or celiac disease should opt for gluten-free whole grain options. 2. Sourdough bread. Sourdough bread is another excellent choice for people with diabetes, thanks to its unique fermentation process, an ancient bread-making tradition that transforms both the nutritional profile and digestibility of the bread. Fermentation involves wild yeast and beneficial bacteria working together to create organic acids, such as lactic and acetic acids, that help lower blood sugar. Plus, these organic acids help keep the bread fresh without needing artificial preservatives. The bacteria also pre-digest the starches, effectively lowering the bread's glycemic impact before it reaches your plate, making it easier to manage blood sugar levels. Depending on the flour used, the GI of sourdough bread can range from 37 to 57, placing it in the low to moderate category. But the benefits don't stop at blood sugar control. Fermentation boosts the availability of nutrients like zinc, iron, magnesium, and B vitamins by reducing phytic acid, a compound that typically blocks mineral absorption. The process also breaks down gluten proteins, making sourdough easier to digest for people with mild gluten sensitivities or celiac disease. However, finding authentic sourdough bread requires careful consideration. Many commercial sourdough products are merely flavored with vinegar or bacterial cultures to mimic the tangy taste without the true fermentation benefits. Some commercial sourdough products may include additional sugars or stabilizers, which can diminish its suitability for diabetes management. Conventional sourdough bread, made at home or by local artisans, often uses traditional fermentation methods. Reading the ingredient list is essential to ensure you're getting authentic sourdough. Look for bread with minimal ingredients, typically just flour, water, salt, and starter culture. Authentic sourdough should have a firm, chewy texture with a complex, tangy flavor. The crust should be crusty and well-developed, while the crumb should show irregular holes. Consider local artisanal bakeries that use traditional methods and long fermentation times, typically 24 to 48 hours. Sourdough bread is best enjoyed toasted and paired with healthy fats like olive oil or unsweetened nut butter. This combination provides sustained energy and minimizes the risk of blood sugar spikes. One slice per meal, up to 3 times a week, is a practical frequency to incorporate sourdough into your diabetes-friendly diet. When shopping, choose sourdough made from whole grain or spelt flour to maximize its nutritional value. If baking at home, allowing sufficient fermentation time is essential to achieve its health benefits. Studies showed that using specific sourdough starters, such as Lactobacillus brevis and Lactobacillus plantarum, increased resistant starch, which helped lower GI, more effectively than spontaneous fermentation. But this was mainly observed in whole grain, not white bread. Keep fermentation between 25 to 30 degrees Celsius to lower the bread's glycemic impact. Despite its benefits, sourdough bread should be consumed in moderation as it still contains carbohydrates. When incorporating sourdough into your diet, start with small portions at different times of day to monitor your blood sugar response. Sourdough bread is acidic, so individuals sensitive to its tangy flavor or prone to acid reflux should approach it cautiously. Are you enjoying our video so far? If so, please give us some hints by dropping a like, and we'll make more content like this. 3. Sprouted grain bread. Sprouted grain bread, also known as germinated bread, is made from grains that have been germinated, which significantly enhances their flavor, texture, and nutritional profile. This bread typically has a GI of about 35, making it a low GI option ideal for blood sugar management. This is because during sprouting, enzymes from grains are activated that begin breaking down starches into simpler molecules, effectively pre-digesting some of the carbohydrates. This process naturally reduces the bread's starch content while simultaneously increasing its protein, fiber, and antioxidants content. This nutrition boost is particularly beneficial for blood sugar management. Additionally, sprouted grains are easier to digest, as the germination process breaks down anti-nutrients like phytic acid and tannins. Note that not all breads labeled as sprouted are created equal. Look for breads that specifically list sprouted whole grains as the first ingredient and are found in the freezer section, as these typically contain fewer preservatives and maintain better nutrient integrity. Conventional sprouted grain bread, often homemade, is free of additives and allows for full control over the choice of grains and seeds. Commercial versions are convenient, but may include added sugars or stabilizers, which can slightly raise their GI and negate some of their overall health benefits. Opting for reputable brands with minimal processing is critical. A high-quality sprouted grain bread should contain at least 3 to 4 grams of protein per slice and minimal added ingredients. While sprouted grain bread tends to be more expensive than conventional options, ranging from $5 to $8 per loaf, its enhanced nutritional profile and better glycemic response make it a worthwhile investment for many people with diabetes. Sprouted grain bread pairs well with lean proteins or vegetable-based toppings, making it a versatile choice for sandwiches or snacks. 2 to 3 slices per day can fit into a diabetes-friendly meal plan, depending on individual carbohydrate goals. Baking sprouted grain bread at home requires sprouting the grains beforehand to achieve the desired benefits. A 2015 study suggested that germinating for 48 hours produced the best bread with higher beneficial compounds. This bread can be denser and chewier than other types, so chewing thoroughly aids digestion. However, people with gastrointestinal sensitivities should introduce sprouted grain bread gradually to avoid discomfort. 4. Pumpernickel bread. Rye bread is a staple in many European diets and is well known for its benefits for those with diabetes. And if you're looking for the best rye bread, pumpernickel takes the top spot. This is a type of dark, dense bread traditionally made from coarsely ground rye flour. The bread is typically made using a slow baking process, often lasting up to 24 hours at low temperatures, which gives it its characteristic dark color and unique taste. Research shows rye-based foods, with their high fiber content, are better for insulin and glucose responses compared to wheat. And pumpernickel, made from whole rye flour, is even better. A 2013 study also found that in people with diabetes, pumpernickel rye bread resulted in significantly lower peak blood glucose compared to the white, brown, whole wheat buttermilk, and whole grain breads. Pumpernickel bread contains more fiber to slow glucose absorption, so it has a much lower glycemic index, about 45, compared to 64 to 67 for regular rye bread. The combination of rye starch and the long, slow baking process creates more resistant starch to further lower the GI. In fact, pumpernickel has one of the lowest glycemic indexes of all bread varieties. It also contains more protein and antioxidants, making it a richer, more nutritious choice. However, finding authentic pumpernickel bread requires careful navigation of today's market. Many commercial versions labeled as pumpernickel are actually just dark rye bread colored with cocoa powder or molasses, which increase the carbohydrate and sugar content. To select genuine pumpernickel, consider traditional European-style bakeries or health food stores. Look for whole rye or rye meal as the first ingredient. Avoid products with wheat flour or added sweeteners, and expect a dense, moist, and slightly sticky texture. True pumpernickel should have a slightly sweet taste developed naturally during baking. Pumpernickel bread is particularly enjoyable as an open-faced sandwich topped with low-fat cheese or smoked salmon. 1 to 2 slices per meal, up to 5 times per week, can be included in a diabetes-friendly diet. When introducing pumpernickel into your diet, start with thin slices, about 1/2 inch, due to its density, and monitor your blood sugar response to find your ideal portion size. It's important to note that some commercial rye breads can be high in sodium, so checking labels is essential, especially if you have kidney or heart disease. Those with wheat or gluten allergies should choose gluten-free rye alternatives to avoid adverse reactions. For those interested in the evidence, the studies supporting our claims are provided in the link in our description box. 5. Low-carb or keto bread. For those seeking maximum blood sugar control, low-carb or keto bread varieties offer a modern solution to traditional bread challenges. These breads are specifically designed to minimize carbohydrate content while maintaining a bread-like texture and taste, making them an excellent choice for people with diabetes. They are typically made with almond flour, coconut flour, soybean, flax meal, oatmeal, or other low-carb alternatives, and they often include more protein and healthy fats than normal bread to provide sustained energy. When choosing low-carb bread, carefully review the ingredients and nutrition facts. Look for options with no more than 5 to 7 grams of net carbs per slice, that is total carbs minus fiber. Conventional low-carb bread, made at home, offers full control over ingredients and allows for customization, such as adding seeds for extra fiber. While these breads can be excellent for blood sugar control, they often come with a higher price tag and may require some adaptation to their different taste and texture. Commercial low-carb breads can be cheap and convenient, but vary widely in quality. Some brands use artificial sweeteners, which may not be suitable for everyone. Be cautious of additives and preservatives that some manufacturers add to achieve a bread-like texture. Always check the ingredient list rather than assume these low-carb and keto breads are inherently healthy. Look for products with recognizable ingredients, minimal additives, and natural sweeteners like stevia or monk fruit. Better yet, consider making your own low-carb bread at home to control cost and ingredients, such as adding seeds for extra fiber. Low-carb bread is versatile and can be used for sandwiches or as a base for toppings like nut butter or avocado. 1 to 2 slices per meal are generally sufficient to maintain carbohydrate targets. However, some low-carb breads may lack dietary fiber, so pairing them with fiber-rich foods is recommended. These breads are best suited for individuals following a low-carb diet plan and may not be appropriate for those on moderate or high-carb diets. Start with small portions to ensure digestive comfort, as some low-carb ingredients can cause discomfort if consumed in large amounts. Tips to choose the right bread for diabetes. Before we wrap up, let's talk about some essential guidelines for choosing the best bread for your diabetes management. Shopping for bread can feel overwhelming with all the marketing terms and fancy packaging, but we're going to make it simple for you with some clear, science-backed criteria to follow. Here's the deal. Watch how long your bread stays fresh. Nature has a fascinating way of telling us what's real and what's not. A genuine, freshly baked baguette will last less than 24 hours, sometimes only 12 hours before it turns hard as a rock. Now, here's the eye-opener. If a regular artisanal loaf lasts more than 3 days on the counter, it is likely full of salt and preservatives. A fresh-baked loaf of bread is usually only 3 days and must stay in a bread box. If your bread stays fresh for more than 5 days without any sign of molding, then it is full of salt and preservatives. Even those fresh-baked loaves from many grocery stores don't quite make the cut. They're often packed with salt and additives that you can taste right away. Now, let's focus on the numbers that matter. When you're reading the nutrition facts label, here are your target ranges per serving. Aim for at least 2 grams of fiber and no more than 400 milligrams of sodium. Be careful. Just because bread says sodium reduced doesn't mean it's actually low in sodium. Low sodium means under 140 milligrams per serving, and salt-free means less than 5 milligrams per serving. Also, if you're making a sandwich with 2 slices, be mindful of the calories and carbs counting, or make it an open-faced sandwich with 1 slice instead. When choosing bread, always start with the ingredients list. Whole should be the first word you see, whether it's whole wheat, whole oat, or whole rye. This isn't just a suggestion. It's your guarantee of getting the full nutritional benefits of the grain. Now let's cover what to avoid. Don't be swayed by terms like multigrain or 7-grain. These are often marketing tricks. If whole isn't the first ingredient, it's probably refined grain in disguise. White bread and its cousins, white flour wraps, bagels, and Italian bread, should be crossed off your list due to their high GI. They're typically stripped of fiber and nutrients, leading to quicker blood sugar spikes. Remember, choosing the right bread is just half the equation. Here's something crucial that many people overlook. Never eat bread alone. This can cause your blood sugar to rise quickly. Always pair it with protein, think nut butter, eggs, or lean meats. You can also eat bread with vinegar and healthy fats like olive oil. These combinations are your secret weapon for controlling post-meal blood sugar spikes and staying satisfied longer. Add some vegetables to the mix, and you've got yourself a perfectly balanced meal. Summary. There you have it, the 5 best bread options that can fit into a diabetes-friendly diet. Opting for nutrient-dense options like whole grain, sourdough, sprouted grain, pumpernickel, or low-carb breads can provide essential nutrients while supporting stable glucose levels. Understanding the distinction between conventional and commercial versions is critical to making informed choices. Conventional breads, especially homemade or fresh-baked locally sourced, often have fewer additives and greater nutritional value. Still, you should choose them carefully since many types of bread from grocery stores are full of salt and additives. Commercial options can be a practical alternative if chosen carefully. Incorporating these breads into a balanced diet requires attention to portion sizes, label reading, and pairing with protein and healthy fats to slow down carbohydrate absorption. Remember, the key to success is personalization and moderation. What works for one person may not work for another, so monitor your blood sugar response to different types of bread and adjust portions accordingly. With mindful planning, especially with the help of your doctor or dietitian, bread can remain a healthy and enjoyable part of life for those managing diabetes. Now, we want to send a big thank you to all our current subscribers and viewers. Your support inspires us to continue sharing valuable content. Hit the bell icon and turn on all notifications so you never miss a life-saving video. Besides diabetes, the sooner you spot kidney issues, the more you can do to keep things under control. If you're unsure about your kidney health and haven't been in a good shape recently, check out the video on the screen. Here, we cover all the possible symptoms, helping you spot kidney failure and take action effectively if needed. See you there. Stay informed, stay healthy.